Hi everyone. Um, Today, what I want to take you through is an idea of how the future of low code, no code could look like, or even better, how can a code with a start point evolve itself based on users' needs, for example. So let's start. This is a very simple chat application. Hi, and I just send it. It consumes a GPT endpoint and gives me a response, right? Now, something as simple as that. Now, with this start point, I have a very small Python code line. I can just compare the original code line, and this code line, I use it where I give this HTML. I have a watchdog, and I'll talk about why. But then I have a API generation with chat completions with GPT-4. Now, I want to change this code line. So I will say, for example, instead of just saying hi, I say change yourself. Now, this is just an experimental thing. Ideally, this change yourself should have been identified by the agent itself, right? So I'll say change yourself and say add timestamps before every user and bot message, all right? And I'm going to send it. And now the hopes is that the code is going to change itself to include these timestamp options. All right. So what it is doing is it actually prompting, trying to understand what it wants to change in itself, and go ahead and change the code line and do the changes, and it's deployed, right? So let's first now again try a hi and send it, and then we look at the code line onward. So if you see, the timestamp has been changed, and if I go to my code, for sure you see there are user timestamp based coding which has been changed into this. I can also say, for example, change yourself, make the HTML dark theme, right? And I just send it. So it's also not only about the functionality, but also the user experience of how I want to talk to my agent. So this, what it should do now is it should identify the HTML component of the code, understand what dark theme means, apply the CSS, change itself, and boom, it should run, right? So of course, when it's HTML changes, I need to refresh, and you see it works. Again, a simple hi, just to make sure that overall the functionality is still robust and working. And yes, again, if we go to the code line, we will see that the HTML code line has been changed, and there is a dark theme that has been applied, and the code line has been changed overall, right over here. Okay, now let's make it more functional. So I will say change. Okay, I think change yourself, and I'll say add a text area to pass a system prompt to enter, say for example, a system prompt, and pass it to a chat completion calls, right? Now I'm making it a little bit more, trying to make it mid break, and we'll talk about this breaking. I know almost all of you must be thinking about, oh, it's not good to change the productive code line. No, that's not the approach, but we'll talk about it, right? So now what it should do is it should not only change the HTML part of the line, but it should now functionally change the chat completion calls to include the system prompt all the way to the call and get back the answer, right? So let's see if it goes through. I just refresh it. I have a system prompt, always answer with a joke, right? And I say, okay, hi, let's see what happens. And what should ideally happen is, it's why did the bicycle stand up by itself? Because it was too tired, right? So, okay, that joke. But so with this, now I could also now potentially try to give it more tools, make it a little more agentic, etc. Right? And it should be able to, if I ask it, okay, give me a coffee, it should understand that I need to consume an online ordering system, maybe it needs permission, which it can have a human in loop for, and then it should also be able to order me a coffee, right? So it's the next generation approach of self-evolving code line, a cognitive approach of self-evolving code lines and agents. The thought process behind this experiment is the following. So the end user UI that we saw, a chat agent and a capability register, like coffee, I can get you coffee, I can give personality, I can do an online search, etc. And then in between, there could be a meta agent engine, which can go through multiple things based on the user interaction. It can identify and do a proposal generator. Now, when it does a proposal generator, it can propose its own self-mutation change, but it will do it in the dev branch, as we see below. Along the dev branch, I need a compliance and audit agent to check if it is complying to all the policies. I'll do the audit of it. I will only deploy if all the CI/CD and all the test automations are done properly. And if need be, I bring in human in loop for sure. And that's the second pillar up there alongside proposal generator saying, hey, this is a big change. I need a human in loop to validate it before I push it into production. If not, if it's a small change, I push it into production where the code line directly changes back into the production as well. I will have plugin marketplace layers. So what are the things that I can plug in as different tools? I need to have that kind of a layer. And then I can notify the user along with versioning saying, hey, I can do these things now. Do you want to continue? And the users can say, oh, no, don't worry about ordering coffee ever again. It was a joke, and it can roll back the version if you like. And then it becomes a multi-agent swarm system where it becomes like an on the fly, it defines the nodes of agents which are to do different work. And then the meta engine is like an orchestrator, right? So one is for my creativity work, one is for my Office 365 integration work, one is for my review work, for example, right? So I can spawn different agents, and then the swarm of agent comes together as a multi-agent orchestration approach, right? So this is something that I wanted to present to all of you as an idea and thought process. Let me know what you think of this. Thank you very much.